Bucky's is just right over there. We're going to let the car do all of the parking, selecting the charger that it stops at, all of that sort of stuff. So let's see where it picks to park us. Plenty of spots right there. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is, okay, so this looks like it's putting us in a handicap spot. So we're not going to leave it here because we are not handicapped. So that's a fail. Tesla, you failed. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about FSD 14.1.4, and man is it a doozy. There are a number of changes with this software update. For one, you can choose what type of parking you'll have at your destination, whether that's parking in a parking lot, a parking garage, curbside parking, or pulling up to your driveway. Now, as we just saw in that clip that I just played, parking doesn't always work out exactly as you had planned. As a matter of fact, the problem I've had with it is when I come home, it likes to pull up into my neighbor's driveway instead of mine. No idea what's going on there. One of the other features that's getting some mixed reviews online are the speed profiles. It used to be you turned the dial and set the speed that you wanted the car to travel at, but now there are a series of speed profiles that determine whether you run the speed limit, a few miles an hour over, or drastically over, depending on how the traffic is running around you. This can get you in trouble, as I found out on my recent trip to Arkansas. We were traveling along, I had it set in standard speed. Speed limit was 60. Car had me doing 73 miles per hour, and I got pulled over by a state trooper.
License and registration, please.
Now, I don't know if this guy was in the holiday spirit or not, but he checked my driving record, saw it was good, came back, gave me a warning, asked me nicely to slow down, and sent me on my way without a ticket.
You'd keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, buddy. Get the hell out of here.
So, Mr. Trooper, I don't know your name, but thank you so much. Now, as you all know, FSD in a Tesla is all based on vision, and one of the newer upgrades is it's supposed to avoid potholes and various debris on the street. Now, it sounds like a good thing, and I think in theory it is, and at some point it will be. However, I have run into a couple of issues with it. For example, potholes that have since been filled in, but you can still see the outline of it. My car tends to think it's still a pothole. I've had it slow down around several of those when there was really no need to. I've also had it slow down when there are very small objects on the road that it could have easily have straddled, or it could have ran over with no damage to the car. Another big one is the car's awareness of emergency vehicles around it. Now, in two different situations, my car has heard or seen the lights flashing on a fire truck and pulled me to the side of the road. The problem with this is, in one case, the fire truck was 3 or 4 blocks ahead of me, going the same direction I was going, meaning that I didn't need to pull over. He was already past me. The second scenario was the fire truck was about 2 or 3 blocks behind me, made a right-hand turn and got up onto the highway, whereas I was going down a city street. Car still heard, was aware of it, pulled over to the side of the road. Again, no reason for me to pull over, but it's one of the bugs that I suspect will be worked out soon. Now, a new buzzword I've heard with this software update is the word sentient, and it's supposed to make the car more sensitive to blind corners and various objects around stop signs, stop lights, and that sort of thing. I'm not sure it's working as intended. It seems to me like the starting and the stopping is a little bit more jerky than it was on the previous version. It does feel like we took a little bit of a step back from the prior version. But really, that's enough talking about it. Let's go out, jump in the car, take it out for a test ride, and see how it does. So we are sitting outside the factory right over here. Went to a really cool concert there the other night with my youngest daughter, Sammy. Caramel macchiato from Starbucks. Great way to spend a day that's in the 40s. Flip it up here to standard just for the on-ramp piece of it. You don't have to do that. You can leave it in chill if that's the one that you want to drive in. It'll do just fine. But and we'll see how much above the speed limit standard runs me. Right now, speed limit's 60. I'm going 67. 911 turbo. Dealer tag on it. We have a Porsche dealership just right over here. I take this route on 6440 pretty frequently, almost daily, and it can get pretty congested during rush hour time. This right here is pretty light traffic, even though you can see up in front of us there, we're hitting some heavier traffic up there. This has been relatively light so far, but it's 11:17 in the morning, so this isn't commuter traffic time. But I've ran this in the very heaviest of traffic, also in really heavy traffic where we're going through work zones, and the car always seems to navigate it just fine. So I've gotten to where I'm super comfortable with the FSD on it. I really enjoy using this if I have a commute, and particularly if we're in really bad stop and go traffic. It's so much more relaxing just to turn this on, let the car deal with all of the start and stops and the congestion. It just handles it so well. It takes a lot of stress off of me, for our morning commute. Now, so we can talk about a couple other things that are less than ideal with the new version of FSD. It seems to be overly sensitive to things in the road. So there are potholes that have been filled in that are no longer potholes, and FSD, at least the first couple of days I had 14.1.4, it didn't differentiate between a pothole that had been filled in and one that was still a pothole. So it would slow down or it would swerve unnecessarily to miss a pothole that we really didn't need to swerve to miss. Now, each time it did that, I would go ahead and tap on my brake after the fact and try to send a note on why I disconnected FSD, and I'm noticing it's doing that a little bit less. So I would suspect I'm probably far from being the only one that's reporting that, because I had a couple of relatively hard braking by the car the first couple of days I had the new version out, and it was a bit disconcerting, and I tried to give feedback on each of those. So Tesla may already be working in the background to fix that, and certainly hope that that's the case. This is an example of the car taking a route that's probably more efficient for the car, but less direct or less efficient time-wise. We could certainly have gotten where we're going a little bit quicker had we stayed on Highway 6440, and we could have gone over to either Highway 141 and gone south, or 270 south, both of which were more direct routes to where we're going. Less scenic, of course. This is a very beautiful area. This is a somewhat of an upscale area back in here. Kind of a nice drive if you're just out to enjoy the the drive or the weather. But if you're looking to get somewhere relatively quickly, the side road's probably not the route to take. I think I mentioned it somewhere else, but I actually used Grok one time to ask me why does Tesla take me through residential neighborhoods and on weird routes when I put in for the navigation. And I think it was Grok is the one that told me that Tesla routes you a little bit differently than Google does. Tesla routes you in ways that are most efficient for the car. So obviously city streets that are running 35, 45 miles an hour are more efficient than the highway speeds where you're going 65, 70, and 75. But for a future upgrade, Elon, if you're listening, future upgrade, I would love to have you let us go in here to autopilot and set in here to take highway whenever possible. Right? That would be an awesome upgrade to this, because to me it doesn't make sense to always have to take these side roads when I don't care about a small percentage. The car is pretty intuitive. I can drive around with this cup of coffee in my hand, but if I pick up my phone or if I'm playing with a selfie stick of sorts, I'll start getting alarms and flashes up here, and the car will tell me it detects something in my hand and I have to pay attention to the road, or it'll suspend full self-driving for me. So pretty smart. I can have a bag of chips here where I'm eating out of a bag of chips. I can have coffee. I can have any number of things in my hand. But when it comes to tech, like a camera or my phone, the car picks up on it just like that, and it'll tell me just right away. It'll flash up here, make an audible sound, and it'll tell me to keep my eyes on the road. And if I don't pay attention, it'll stop the car, turn off full self-driving. And if that happens, if you get suspended too many times, you'll get suspended for something like a week or something. I've never actually been suspended. I've had the full self-driving flash me a warning, but I'm pretty cautious. As soon as it flashes me a warning, I get my eyes right back on the road and try to focus, because I use FSD every single day. So the last thing I want to do is get some kind of a strikeout where I can't use it for a week or something. Now this is a busy street. I have found occasionally on a busy street where I have to goose the accelerator just a bit to get it to jump out there in traffic, because it does try to be overly cautious. All right, here we go. Now we do have a fire truck right over there. So if he were to turn on his siren, I suspect the car would pull us right over. I've experienced that a couple of times since the new software update, where there'll be a fire emergency somewhere in the vicinity, and the car hears the siren, sees the lights, and pulls off to the side of the road. So I chose Home Depot, which is right up here. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on Manchester in the congested traffic. But you get the idea. I'd reroute us, but looking ahead up there, the traffic doesn't look that bad this time of day, so Be just extra unnecessary driving for not much more of a demo. So here we've got a brand new Model Y. It's a pretty slick design, the gray. You almost can't see the Tesla logo on the back of it. Let's see what kind of choice the car makes for us here for parking. Now when I park, I tend to park way out at the end of the parking lot. So number one, it forces me to get my steps in. And number two, a lot of times I can park in an area where there's not any other traffic, and I avoid some door dings that way. This one here wants to park me just right next to somebody, which is okay. And I don't know if you can see it in there, but it put us right directly between the lines. So it really did an outstanding job of parking for us. So nothing out of the ordinary happened on that particular trip. I was kind of hoping for something, swerve to miss a branch, or stop for something in the road, something unusual, because I've had a couple of those over the last few days when we were out of town traveling, but today was smooth as butter. So that is becoming more of the norm, the more miles that I put down on this. It's the whole reason you subscribe to Full Self-Driving, really, is to have a good smooth driving situations. Hope that was beneficial. Smash that subscribe button, give a thumbs up, drop a comment down if you're a Tesla owner that uses FSD. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. In battery. For my day-to-day use, I've got tons of battery. I don't have to worry about saving a percent here or a percent there.